لا تجزعي.
We have found and are finding, and the number is increasing as I address you and you listen to the reminder that our sons and daughters, never mind elevating the kalima la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, they themselves are in need of help. They themselves, our sons as well as our daughters, are turning to street corners. They're looking for happiness. They're looking for joy. They are looking for happiness. They are looking for peace of mind. They are looking for contentment. They are looking for the inner satisfaction. Some of them are turning to needles. Some of them are turning to tablets. Some of them are turning to injections. Some of them in bags of glue. Some of them in weed. Some of them in speed. Some of them in crack. Some of them in marijuana. Some of them in cocaine. Some of them in cannabis. Some of them, my friends, on heroin. Doctors say and have proven that drugs cause diseases. Doctors say and have proven those under the influence of drugs commit many a crime, and hundreds and thousands of examples they give. My young friends, I haven't come here today to prove something which has already been proven, to prove something which is already crystal clear. Why? Because my sons and daughters, my young brothers and sisters on the street say, Maulana, it doesn't do that to us. When we take dope, we don't commit any crime after this. We are law-abiding citizens. We are not hooked onto this thing. We only take a spliff or two. We only take a tablet or two. And the only reason we do this is just to fit into the crowd that we hang around with, just to fit in society, just for the buzz, just for the good feeling, just to give us a bit of a lift so that we're not depressed. My young friends, then they say, Maulana, it only costs a few pounds. It is cheaper than cigarettes. You see hundreds and thousands of people smoking cigarettes. You don't say anything to them. This is cheaper than cigarettes. It has the same impact as a cigarette. I have come today, my young friends, to share with you the consequence of such an ideology. I have come here today to share with you the consequence of one spliff that you take, the consequence of one sip that you take, the consequence of one ecstasy tablet, the consequence of this one deal that you made when you gave the pound, when you gave the fiver, and in return received that tablet. This is why I have come here today, and I want you to try to picture this in your mind's eye as I'm addressing you. See if you can picture this in your mind's eye, because this is what is happening around the globe. Whether it is the streets of London, or whether it's the streets of New York, whether it's the streets of Cape Town, or whether it is the streets of Bangkok. It is a Friday night, my young friends. Just like yesterday was a Friday night. Friday night in Islam, it is one of the most holiest nights. My young friends, it is a blessed night. It is an auspicious night. Such a great night is a Friday that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Ma tala'ati shams wala gharubat ala yawmin khayrun min yawmil jumu'ati, that the sun has never risen and the sun has never set on a day which happens to be better than a Jumu'ah, a day which happens to be better than a Friday. Why is this night so great? Why is it so blessed? Why is it so auspicious? فِيهِ خَلَقَ اللَّهُ آدَمَ. This was the night in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Hazrat Adam alayhi salatu was salam. وَفِيهِ أُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةِ وَفِيهِ أُخْرِجَ مِنْهَا. He was the father of creation, and he was the first Nabi of Allah. This was the night which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose to place Hazrat Adam alayhi salatu was salam inside the Jannah of Allah. This was the day in which Hazrat Adam alayhi salatu was salam was taken out from the paradise of Allah and placed on the dunya. وَفِيهِ قُبِض. This was the night in which the soul of Hazrat Adam alayhi salatu was salam was taken out and he died. So blessed and so auspicious and so great and so holy is the night of Friday, my young friends. فِيهِ سَاعَةٌ لَا يَسْأَلَ الْعَبْدُ فِيهَا شَيْئًا إِلَّا أَعْطَاهُ إِيَّاهُ. This night contains, this day contains an hour. an hour. Whenever a servant of Allah makes dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in that particular hour, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He responds to his call, He responds to his prayer, and Allah accepts his prayer. So great is this night. Here Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Fihi taqumu as-sa'a." This is the day in which Qiyamah will take place and everything will come to an end. The sun, the moon, the stars will all come to an end on a Jumu'ah. So blessed is this day. This is the day which contains the special prayer of Salatul Jumu'ah. This is the day in which you and I as believers have been enjoyed by Allah, and as Allah has ordained, فَاكْثِرُوا مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ فِيهَا فَإِنَّ صَلَاتَكُمْ يَوْمَ الْجُمُعَةِ مَعْرُوزَةٌ عَلَيْهَا. Send abundance of Durood Sharif and salutations on Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because this is the night in which your salutations are presented upon Rasulullah, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam responds when you send salutations to him. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he is informed that today Abdullah has sent salutations, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he makes dua for him. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam makes istighfar for him, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive him. This is how great this night is in Islam. This is how blessed this night is in Islam. This is how auspicious this night is in Islam. My young friends, Abdullah and the boys, they've been waiting all week for this night. Call him Abdullah, or if you wish, call him Johnny 5. And the reason I say Johnny 5, because we live in such times. When he was born, his mother named him Bilal after Sayyidina Bilal Habshi radiyallahu ta'ala an. And maybe her son, just like Bilal would elevate the kalima La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, he will also grow up to elevate the kalima La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. She named him Bilal because just like Bilal Habshi, maybe her son, just like Bilal Habshi, when they would torture and they would punish, there was nothing that could move this man from Islam, and the Tawheed would come out from his mouth. Maybe her son will become the defender of Islam and he will never leave the deen of Allah. But this young friend of mine, he doesn't want to be called Bilal. Why? Because Bilal doesn't give him a kick, it doesn't give him a buzz, it doesn't give him the lift, it doesn't make him feel bad. This guy wants to be known as Billy Boy Jr. My young friends, he was born and his mother named him Abdullah. Why did she name him Abdullah? Inna ahabba al-asma Abdullah. Inna ahabba al-asma ilallah Abdullah wa Abdurrahman. Because the best names that any parent can give their child is the name Abdullah, is the name Abdurrahman. So she chose for him the name Abdullah. Why? Maybe her son will grow up to be a true servant of Allah, a pious servant of Allah. But this guy, he doesn't want to be called Abdullah. He doesn't want to be named Abdullah. He doesn't want to be known as Abdullah on the streets. Why? Because amongst his yars, amongst his friends, this name doesn't have the buzz to it. It doesn't have the sound to it. It doesn't have the feeling to it. Amongst his friends, the guy wants to be known as Abi. His mother named him Muhammad after our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Maybe this will have an impact on the way my child will grow up. Maybe my child will follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in every aspect. This is why his mother named him Muhammad. My friends, this guy amongst his friends, he doesn't want to be called Muhammad. He wants to be known as more. Why? Because this is what gives him the kick. This is what makes him feel bad amongst his friends. And this is what sends him to the seventh heaven. So why call him Abdullah? Let's just make his day and call the guy Johnny 5. So Johnny 5, my young friends, he's been waiting all week. All week, he's been counting the days, he's been counting the hours, he's been counting the seconds for a Friday night. And the reason he's been waiting for a Friday night, not because of his blessedness, not because of its sacredness, not because of its holiness, not because of its greatness, not because tonight's the night in which he's going to prostrate before the Lord of the Arsh and Kursi and beg for Allah's forgiveness for all the wrongs that he's committed throughout the week, for all the gunas that he's committed throughout the week. This is not the reason why J5 has been waiting for a Friday night. J5 has got his own plans. What are his plans, my young friends? This is the night in which Johnny 5 is going to spend his halal earned earnings. He's going to spend them the haram way. This is the night in which Johnny 5 is going to commit guna, in which he's going to sin, in which he's going to go against the teachings of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the night in which he's going to go against the teachings of Islam. This is the night in which he's going to go against the teachings of the Quran. This is the night in which Johnny 5 is going to fornicate. He's going to fornicate with his ears by listening to haram. He's going to fornicate with his eyes by looking at haram. He's going to fornicate with his mouth by speaking to haram. He's going to fornicate with his hands by touching haram. My friends, this is the night in which Johnny 5 is going to pub and club. This is the night in which he's going to chill and thrill. This is the night in which he's going to flex and let loose and go wild. This is the night in which he's going to take a tablet or two, take a spliff or two, and burn some serious tires. This is the night in which he's going to rock the house. This is the night in which he's going to invite the anger of Allah to descend upon him. He's going to invite the wrath of Allah to descend upon him. He's going to invite the curse and lanat of Allah to descend upon him. My young friends, he's been waiting all week, counting the days, counting the hours, counting the seconds. Friday, he's at work. It's 5 o'clock. He's already on a high. He leaves his work. 5 o'clock. He goes home. He's already got a set pattern. What he does every Friday night. He makes his way home. The first thing that he does, rushes upstairs. He takes a shower. After taking a shower, my young friends, he makes his way to the closet. He opens the closet. He takes out his clothes, the ones that he's reserved especially for a Friday night. And you know exactly what I'm referring to. These are the bad boy clothes. These are the bad boy jeans, which is reserved for a Friday night. With the bad boy jeans goes the bad boy top, the Lacoste top for a Friday night. With the Lacoste top, he takes out the daddy shoes. He takes out the Samba specials, all reserved for a Friday night. And then he stands before a mirror as big as him, and he puts on the clothes. He's putting on the jeans. He likes what he sees, and he takes a look at himself. This is me, dressed to kill. Then he puts on the top, and then he looks at himself. He likes what he sees. This is Johnny 5. Then he ties his shoelaces. Again, he takes another look at the mirror. He can see himself. He likes what he sees. This in itself, my friend, sends him to 7th heaven, because now he knows from within him that he's dressed to kill, and tonight he will be doing some serious damage. My friends, now he takes his keys and he jumps into his car. Whether it's a GTI, whether it's a Subaru, or whether it's an Audi Quattro, the first thing J5 does is push the button and turn on the deck. And this is so loud that not only is Johnny 5 listening to it, he's got the whole of Bradford listening to the same thing. He's got the, you might laugh, but this is reality. This is exactly what happens. He's got the whole of London listening to what they don't even want to listen to. He's got the house actually lifting from their foundations, my friend. And guess what? It's the eye of the tiger. And soon as those lyrics hit his ears, he's on the 7th heaven. He feels so bad within, and so powerful that when them lyrics hit his ears, there's only one king of this ring, and that's Johnny 5. There's only one king of this jungle. There's only one lion, and that is J5. He feels such within himself that today you can bring whoever you like, from Mike Tyson to Muhammad Ali to Johnny Pacquiao to even Amir Khan. This guy, there is nothing that is going to stand before this guy. This is how much kibr and pride is in his heart at this moment in time. He will eat them all, bring them one by one, or bring them all together. There is only one king of the ring on a Friday night, and that guy is called Johnny 5. This is how he is feeling. And when them lyrics enter his ears in a 30-mile zone, he is killing 70 miles per hour. 80 miles per hour. He's burning some serious tire. He couldn't care less if a child of 3 walked on the road. He couldn't care less if a child of 5 walked out the road. This is the speed that he's going at. He's got one thing on his mind. It's the ultimate destination. He's got to pick up his boys. Why? Because he only looks good with his boys. When he's alone, he's like a mouse. When he's with his boys, he's like a lion. So he picks up his boys. They jump into the car, the GTI. They're all heading to one destination, the ultimate destination. You can call it frontier if you like. You can call it busy bees if you like. You can call it maestro. Give it whatever name you like. This is the ultimate destination on a Friday. This is paradise on a Friday. They get to the ultimate destination. He parks his car. He gets out of the car and out come his boys. And they're walking the bad boy walk. And as they're walking along, they're talking the bad boy talk. They're taking 5. They're receiving 5 from everyone that comes and goes. And just as J5 said, outside the club, you've got a supplier and 2. Sad fact is, this guy is another Muslim and he's supplying. And just as J5 said, Walana, why do you say it's haram? It only cost a quid or 2. It's just like cigarettes. Just as J5 said, he's only spent a quid or 2. He's only spent a fiver. He's bought himself a tablet or 2. Now he enters the club. And my friend, this is what he's been dreaming of all week. This is the paradise for him. He enters the club and this place is alive. This place is kicking. This place is buzzing. There are lights flashing everywhere. Red, green, blue. The music is blaring. It is deafening. This is exactly how he likes it. It's got a buzz. He needs his own buzz. He needs him something that will give him a lift, something that will electrify him. He's purchased the tablet. He takes the tablet. He places it in his mouth. And before you even know it, this sends him to the 7th heaven. J5 is on cloud 5. His body begins to move and he begins to pop without him even body popping. The guy is electrified and he's doing some serious moves on the dance floor. There's nothing that can stop him. My friends, he doesn't realize the consequence of this one spliff that he's taken. He doesn't realize the consequence of this one tablet. He doesn't realize even now the consequence of this £1 that he earned the halal way and he spent it the haram way. He doesn't realize the consequence of this one ecstasy tablet. And why should Johnny 5 realize the consequence of this one tablet? Johnny 5 is not gonna die. There's nothing on the face of the earth that can stop Johnny 5. Johnny 5 is not gonna die. To even utter this is absurd. He's not gonna die. People don't die at the age of 20. People don't die at the age of 25. People don't die at the age of 30. The only time people die is when their bones become weak. The only time people die is when their hair turns white. This guy is young. He's got a life in front of him. To utter it is absurd. He's 25 years of age. He's 20 years of age. He's alive. He's kicking. He's wild. He's moving like never before. He's dancing like never before. There's nothing that can stop him on the face of the earth. The guy is in another world. The guy is on another planet. The guy is on 7th heaven. They are dancing around him. He's set the dance floor alight. He's got everyone around him. They're clapping their hands. They're egging him on. They're calling him by the name Johnny 5. This has sent him to another world. He is up there and it continues like this. Like you said, nothing can stop him. Like you said, death will not come to him. He's too young to die. And whilst he's out of it, whilst he's enjoying himself like this, and he's dancing to their tunes as they clap their fingers, as they clap their hands, when all of a sudden, my young friends, there's a knock on the door. There's a knock on the door. J5, open the door. And Johnny 5's out of it. He can't hear. So I say again, J5, knock, knock, open the door. J5's out of it. He's still dancing to their tunes. They're clapping and he's dancing to their tunes, he can't hear anything. He's not opening the door. So guess what? Who will open the door? The Lord of the Arsh and Kursi opens the door. Which door? The veil of the Akhirah. Allah opens the veil. Now, all of a sudden, it's the unpredictable. It is the unthinkable. You guys were saying to me a minute ago, he can't die. He's only 20 years of age. He's only 18 years of age. You just don't die at the age of 18. You just don't die at the age of 25. The guys on the dance floor, the guys is intoxicated. He's in such a condition that when he was doing those moves, it is so possible that, my friends, his iman has left his body. When he was doing those moves and taking the intoxicants, his iman left the body. Iman so valuable that there is nothing within the universe that is more precious than an individual's iman. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لو أن السماوات السبع والأرضين السبع في كفة ولا إله إلا الله في كفة مالت بهم بلا إله إلا الله. That if the 7 heavens and the 7 earths were placed in one pan of the balance, and La ilaha illallah was placed in the second pan of the balance, such is the value and glory of Iman, that La ilaha illallah would outweigh the 7 heavens and the 7 earths put together. And what you see above at this moment in time, everything that you see above, all the galaxies, everything that you see above comes within the first heaven. Such is the glory of Iman that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Al-Islamu yahdimu ma qabla. The Islam demolishes every sin that was committed before it. If you lived for 1,000 years, and for 1,000 years of your life, you committed every second of the day, you disobeyed Allah and His Rasul, and you committed sin, and then one day you declared La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Such is the glory of this Iman, and such is the power of this Iman, that it will demolish the 1,000 years of sin that you have lived before this. Such is the glory of Iman. Never mind possessing Iman equal to a barley grain. Never mind possessing Iman equal to a wheat grain. Never mind possessing Iman equal to an atom. Anyone who possesses Iman, even if it is equal to an atom, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Tunjihi minan nar, tunjihi minan nar, tunjihi minan nar. It will save him from Jahannam. It will save him from Jahannam. It will save him from Jahannam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, and whilst he was dancing on that floor, and he had taken this intoxicant, little did he realize the consequence of his action. But for every second the intoxicant was inside his body, his Iman was becoming weak. It began to choke, so much so that the Iman wanted to leave the body. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Wallahi la yajtami'u imanun wa idmanul khamr في صدر رجل أبدا ليوشكن أحدهما يخرج صاحبه. By Allah, Iman and intoxicant cannot stay in the same body. One will drive the other away. The intoxicants will drive the Iman, and his Iman will leave the body. So his Iman came out as soon as he took the intoxicants. How? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Man zala'u sharib al-khamr naza Allahu minhu al-iman kama yakhla'u al-insan al-qamisa min ra'sih. Whenever somebody commits zina, whenever somebody takes intoxicants, Allah takes his Iman from within his body, just as one of you takes off his shirt from above his head. Allah takes his Iman. Now, when he taken the intoxicants, his Iman had left his body, and it was above his body, it was above his head, and he was in such a condition when he was dancing upon that dance floor that the Iman was above his head. And if he died in that condition, he would have died without Iman. He was in such a condition that every second he was asking for Allah's wrath to descend upon him. He was asking for the punishment of Allah to descend upon him. And then it was so possible that he may have been from amongst those who woke up in the morning to only find that their faces have been transferred into pigs and monkeys. It is so possible that he may have been from amongst those whom the earth would have swallowed. It is possible that he may be been from amongst those upon whom it will rain of stones, just like it rained upon the people of Lut, on whom Allah will descend the wind, like the one that destroyed the ark. Why? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, يَبِيتُ قَوْمٌ مِّنْ هَذِهِ الْأُمَّةِ عَلَىٰ طَعْمٍ وَشُرْبٍ وَلَحْوٍ وَلَعِبٍ فَيُصْبِحُوا كَالْمُسِخُ قِرَدَةٌ وَخَنَازِيرٌ. That there will be people from amongst my ummah, and they will be partying all night, just like J5 was partying all night, chilling and thrilling, pubbing and clubbing, taking intoxicants, enjoying themselves, keeping themselves amused. When all of a sudden the punishment of Allah will descend upon them, and they will realize that their faces have been transformed into monkeys and pigs. There will be a group of them for whom the earth will open and the earth will swallow them. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, وَلَتُرْسَلَنَّ عَلَيْهِمْ حِجَارَةٌ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ كَمَا أُرْسِلَتْ عَلَىٰ قَوْمِ لُوطٍ. On a group of them, it will rain of stones, just as it rained upon the people of Lut. وَلَتُرْسَلَنَّ عَلَيْهِمُ الرِّيحَ الْعَقِيمِ. On a group of them, Allah will send the wind that destroyed the ark. And why will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do this? بِشُرْبِهِمُ الْخَبَرُ وَلُبَسِهِمُ الْحَرِيرِ. Because they would take wine, they would take dope, they would take weed, they would take smack and crack, they would take intoxicants, they would wear harir, silk, clothes which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made haram, has forbidden. وَإِتِّخَاذِهُمُ الْكَيْنَاتِ وَأَكْلِهِمُ الرِّبَا وَقَتِيئَتِهِمُ الرَّحْمِ. Because they would break ties and relations, because they would wheel and deal in suit, interest, and take interest. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish them. So it is so possible that he may have been from amongst those on whom these punishment will descend. And whilst he was in that state of intoxication and on the dance floor making them moves, man sharib al-khamr lam yaqbal lahu minhu shay'a. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never accept anything from him in that state. If he was to make worship and fast and pray, Allah will throw it on his face. If he was to recite tasbih, Allah will throw it on his face. If he was to give sadaqah, Allah will throw it on his face. My friends, this is the condition that he was in. But little did he think of these consequences. Little did he think that he was going to die. This is the way we think in this day and age. You just don't die at the age of 20. You just don't die at the age of 25. But this guy's gone. This guy, he's gone. Guess who's standing before him? Don't call him Malak al-Maut. The guy doesn't like to be called Malak al-Maut. In this context, he's called the AOD. The AOD, the angel of death. This guy is the king of the ring. Now, when this guy, he's so ruthless. So ruthless that you know what? Never mind those within the dunya. You know, even those within the heavens are terrified of the AOD. So terrified that great Qurtubi, commentator of the Quran, says that when the angel of death comes even near the angels that carry the arsh of Allah, and these angels, their heads are in the seventh heaven and their feet in the lowest earth, when the angel of death comes close to them, they begin to melt out of fear. They begin melt out of fear. Maybe he will come and take their soul. And now the AOD is standing before him. The guy is out of it. The guy is intoxicated. His iman is above his head. He's going without his iman. The angel of death will strike him with a forked mace made out of fire. Smash! And every fork of this mace will penetrate inside his body, in his skin, in his bones, in his flesh, in his marrow, in his veins. And now the angel of death, when these forks have penetrated inside his body, the angel of death now will twist and turn. Can you imagine a rose bush? You know, all the thorns that you have on a rose bush. And just imagine that these thorns of this rose bush, these thorns were at least 5 to 6 inches long, and every thorn was inside every vein of your body, every bone of your body, and then somebody was twisting and turning it while it was inside. The angel of death will strike him and will beat him and turn at the same time. The angel will take out his soul from beginning from the toes. He will stop it at his ankles, and then the angels will beat him. And now the angel will take out his soul from his ankles. He will stop it at his knees and smash him again. And now the angel will take out his soul from his knees to his waist, smash him again. The angel will take out his soul from his waist to his chest, smash him again. Then he will call out, اخرجي أيتها النفس الخبيثة إلى سموم وحميم وظل من يحموم لا بارد ولا كريم. Come out, O accursed soul, to a place of scorching wind, scalding water, shadows of black smoke, no cool, no refreshing. The angel will take out his soul. Now the earth, every place in which Johnny 5 disobeyed Allah and his Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, every inch of the earth will begin to curse Johnny 5 and will thank Allah for this blessing. Eh Allah, tera lakh lakh shukriya. Oh Allah, millions and millions of thanks are to you that you have rid us of the evil of Johnny 5. My friends, the angel will now take his soul towards the heavens. Every group of angels this angel comes across, they will begin to ask, Ma hadha ruh khabis, who is this impure soul? When the soul gets to the heaven, the Quran says, لا تفتح لهم أبواب السماء ولا يدخلون الجنة حتى يلج الجمل في سم الخياط. The heavens, the doors of the heavens will not be open for the soul of Johnny 5. ولا يدخلون الجنة. They will not enter Jannah till a camel enters the eye of a needle. It is impossible for a camel to enter the eye of a needle, just as it is impossible for a camel to enter the eye of a needle. It will be impossible for Johnny 5 and the soul to enter paradise. My friends, the caller will call out, write the scroll of my servant in the lowest hell and let the party begin. Now the party will begin. You know what? He loved the Friday night. He loved the Saturday night. He was totally out of it. This is the only thing that he would look forward for, He thought this was his purpose in life. This was his purpose in creation, just to fulfill his desires. This is where the party will begin. And you know where the party will begin? The angels will return his soul to a nightclub. You know what this nightclub's called? This nightclub is called the G-Rave. What is it called? The G-Rave. What does it spell? Before you say, what's the G-Rave? What does it spell? Grave. But I call it the G-Rave so you'll never forget it. This is the nightclub in which you will be taken. 6 foot by 2 foot, total darkness. And this is where the angels of punishment will make him tango, not on Tobago. They'll make him tango there right till the day of resurrection. He'll regret that he ever took one spliff. I'm not talking about the consequence of one that did this day and night. No way, my friends. I'm talking about the guy that just did it once. The guy that just took one drug. The guy that just took, drank one, cup. The one that just injected himself once. The one that just took one ecstasy tablet. Inside the grave, the angels will now make him tango. The very grave. The good believers, those that were obedient to Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allahu Akbar, the hadith says, فَفْرِشُوا لَهُ مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ وَالْبِسُوهُ مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ وَافْتَهُ لَهُ بَابًا إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. The good believers, they're sleeping on beddings of paradise. Allahu Akbar. Sleeping on beddings of paradise, wearing the beautiful clothes of paradise. A door has been opened towards paradise. The grave is as wide as far as the eye can see. The beautiful scent and fragrances and perfumes of paradise are entering his grave. And the good believers, منهم النائم على الحرير, منهم النائم على السندس والديباج, منهم النائم على الريحان. Some of them are reclining on beddings of silk. Some of them are reclining on gold tissue. Some of them are sleeping on brocade. Some of them, Allahu Akbar, Allah is honoring them. They're sleeping on and resting on sweet herbs, beautiful herbs. When this is the condition of the good believers, and this is how they are sleeping inside their graves, benefiting from the blessings of Allah. Johnny 5 will come inside his grave and he will realize even inside his grave he will be totally out of it. He will be seeing stars. He will realize that that one spliff has purchased for him a hangover inside his grave. Rasulullah said, these are not my words, my friends. Rasulullah said, Man faraka dunya sakaran, dakhal al-qabr sakaran, bu'itha min qabrihi sakaran, wa umira bihi ila an-nari sakaran, ila jablin yuqal lahu sakaran. Whoever dies in the state of intoxication, he will enter his grave totally out of it, in the state of intoxication. He will be raised on the day of judgment in the state of intoxication. He will be sent to Jahannam in the state of intoxication. In Jahannam, he will be sent to a mountain called Sakaran, in which he will be forced to drink the pus and blood of the inhabitants of hell. He's inside his grave. The guy is totally out of it. And now the grave will embrace him. The grave will embrace him with such force and such strength that the ribs and bones of one side of Johnny 5 will enter the other side. And Rasulullah demonstrated this like this, by placing the fingers of one hand in the other hand like this. And the grave will do this to him. You know what? Even then, he will be totally out of it. Now the angels Munkar and Nakir will come. قَدْ نُزِئَتْ مِنْهُمُ الرَّأْفَةُ وَالرَّحْمَةُ إِلَّا بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ. These angels, there's no such thing as compassion. There's no thing as mercy. Their mercy and their compassion, it is only for the true believers. The angels will come. Rasulullah has described these angels for us. How will they look? أَبْصَارُهُمَا كَالْبَرْقِ الْخَاطِفِ. Their eyes glitter like a flash of lightning. أَبْصَارُهُمَا كَالْبَرْقِ الْخَاطِفِ وَأَصْوَاتُهُمَا كَالرَّعْدِ الْقَاصِفِ. Their voices rumble like thunder. وَأَنْيَابُهُمَا كَالسَّيَاسِ. You know, their teeth are like the horns of a bull. This is how big their teeth are. وَأَنْفَاسُهُمَا كَاللَّهَبِ. When they breathe, flames of fire come out of their mouths. يَتَعَانِ فِي أَشْعَارِهِمَا بَيْنَ مَنْكِبَيْ كُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْهُمَا مَسِيرَةُ كَذَا وَكَذَا. Their hair reach to their feet. They are so big, this creation of Allah, that the distance from one shoulder to the other shoulder, it will take you a few days just to cover the distance from one shoulder to the other shoulder. How big do you think this creation of Allah is? They will come to him inside his grave. مَا كُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْهُمَا أَمُودٌ مِّنْ حَدِيدٍ لَوْ اجْتَمَعَ عَلَيْهِ مَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ مَا حَرَّكُوهُ. Every one of them will be carrying a hammer of steel. This hammer is so big that if every person that Allah created from the beginning of time till the end of time, every human being, every jinn were to get together and they tried picking up this hammer and moving it an inch, never mind an inch, never mind a centimeter, they will not even be able to move it put together, even by a millimeter. These angels will come. This is their strength. They are carrying this hammer and they will come to him. فَيَنْتَهِرَانِهِ إِنْتِحَارًا. They will reproach him in such a manner. يَتَقَأْقَوْ مِنْهُ عِظَامُهُ وَتَظُولُ أَعْضَاءُ مِنْ مَفَاصِلِهِ فَيَخِرَّ مَغْشِيًا عَلَيْهِ. When they reproach him, my friends, every bone in his body will begin to crack. Every limb will be displaced. His hands will be displaced. His shoulders will be displaced. His knees will be displaced. He will faint. And now when he comes around, they haven't even touched him, and every bone in his body is cracking. What do you think his outcome be? And now they will ask him the famous questions. Johnny 5, tell me, Man Rabbuk? who is your Lord? What will his answer be? The guy is still out of it. He didn't know who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was. The guy didn't have time for Allah. The guy didn't have time for worship. The guy had no time for religion. The only thing he knew was ganja and weed. Only thing he did was fulfill his desire. Then he used to think about where is he going to get the money for the next spliff, for the next draw. This was his life. Was he not the one that the Quran says, أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهُ هَوَى? He took his desires to be God. This is all he did, was serve his desires and fulfill his desires. What will his answer be? The second question, مَا دِينُكَ? What is your religion? He didn't have any deen in his life. Never mind a Jummah prayer. The guy couldn't even come for an Eid prayer, which are only 2 in a year. What will his answer be? Man hadha rajul. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is shown to him, okay, Johnny 5, who is this man? What will his answer be? He doesn't know who this man was. He knew who Tupac Shakur was. He knew who Michael Jackson was. He knew who Bob Marley was. He didn't have time for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You know what? He thought this was old-fashioned. What will his answer be? The caller will call out, فَافْرِشُوهُ لَهُ مِنَ النَّارِ وَالْبِسُوهُ مِنَ النَّارِ وَافْتَهُ لَهُ بَابًا إِلَى النَّارِ. Spread a bedding of Jahannam for him. Give him the clothes of Jahannam to wear and open the doors of hell for him. And the fire and the hot air of Jahannam will start entering his grave. And the angels, the angels of punishment will keep on entertaining him with different types of punishments right till the day of resurrection. Right till the day of resurrection, my young friend, they will keep on making him do the tango. Smash, smash, smash. He will not even have a second to breathe. He will not even be given a break, not even for a second. From the moment he is in his grave, right till the day of resurrection, the angels will keep on entertaining. This is the consequence of one split. And you know what? This is just the beginning. The game hasn't even begun. You will come out of your graves. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون. The good believers, they will come out of their graves. Those that sacrifice their desires. Those, when they were offered ganja, they said, no, Allah has made this haram. When they were offered this weed, they said, no, this brings about the displeasure of Allah. And they turned, they suppressed their desires and they ran further and further away. These are the good youngsters. These are the good believers. When they come out of their grave, Allahu Akbar, on the plane of resurrection, the angels will descend from the heavens and the angels will come to them and the angels will say, Allah takhafu wa la tahzanu wa abshiru bil jannati allati kuntum tu'adun. That you've got nothing to fear about. Do not grieve. Do not be sad. Today, for you are the glad tidings of paradise. Remember in the dunya, Mufti Wasim used to tell you, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ كَانَتْ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتُ الْفِرْدَوْسِ نُزُلًا. Those who believe and those who do good deeds, they will receive Jannat al-Firdaus as entertainment. The ulama used to tell you, the wa'idhin used to tell you that you will receive a paradise. Today, inshallah, Allah will give you this paradise. You will see this paradise. مَا لَا عَيْنٌ رَأَتْ وَلَا أُذُنٌ سَمِعَتْ وَلَا خَطَرَ عَلَى قَلْبِ بَشَرٍ. Blessings which no eye has ever seen, which has never crossed the mind of any human being. The ears have never heard of such blessings. These are the blessings that you will receive. They will come out of their graves. غُرًّا مُحَجَّلِينَ مِنْ آثَارِ الْوُضُوء. Their limbs are glowing. There is nur on their faces because of the wudu that they would perform in dunya for their prayer. Their limbs are glowing. نورهم يسعى بين أيديهم وبأيمانهم يقولون ربنا أتمم لنا نورنا واغفر لنا إنك على كل شيء قدير. There will be light and nur to the right of them. There will be nur to the left of them. There will be nur in front of them. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the plane of resurrection, إن المؤذنين والملبين يخرجون يوم القيامة من قبورهم يؤذن المؤذن ويلبي الملبي. Those that died in the state of giving the adhan, Allahu Akbar, they will come out of their graves, and on the plane of resurrection they will be calling out, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. Can you imagine this, my young friends? when even the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam will be saying nafsi, nafsi. What do you think is the status of such an individual? That on the plane of resurrection, he is glorifying the Lord of the Arsh and Kursi. Those that died in the state of ihram, they will come out of their graves and they will be saying, Labbaik, Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wal ni'mata laka wal mulk, la sharika lak, labbaik. Oh Allah, we are coming, we are present. Oh Allah, we are present. Oh Allah, you have no partners. Those that were martyred in the path of Allah, they will come out of their graves. Blood will be coming out of their wounds and the smell will be better than musk. You will see some of the believers on the plane of resurrection, Allahu Akbar, they are sitting on chairs made out of nur, made out of light. Some of the believers you will see on the plane of resurrection, they are sitting on mimbars, on pulpits made out of light. Some of them you will see ala kuthbani min misk, they are sitting on mounds of musk. Some of the believers you will see sab'atun yudhillahumullahu fi dhillih yawma la dhilla illa dhilluh, they will be sitting under the shade of the arsh of Allah, the day there is no shade other than the shade. When Allah is receiving those that were obedient, the youth that sacrificed their desires for Allah on the day of judgment, He is receiving them like this. Johnny 5 will now come. He will also be resurrected. He will find that $1 he spent the haram way, that one spliff that he bought, the one injection that he took, the one glass of whiskey or vodka or rum that he took, it will have purchased him humiliation like never before. Humiliation which the human mind cannot even comprehend. He will come out of his grave just like Rasulullah said, Kullu abdin yub'ath ala ma mata alayh. Everyone will be raised like the way he died. How did he die? He died in the state of intoxication. Rasulullah said, Bu'itha min qabrihi sakaran. He will come out of his grave in the state of intoxication on the plane of resurrection. Such was the power of the one spliff that he took. He's got a hangover on the plane of resurrection. Rasulullah said, يخرج شارب الخمر يوم القيامة من قبره أنتن من الجيفة والكوز معلق بعنقه والقدح بيده ويملأ ما بين جلده ولحمه حيات وأقارب ويلبس نعلين من نار يغلي منها دماغه. He will come out of his grave. He will smell worse than a rotten corpse. You know a corpse when it decays, look at the smell, it is intolerable. He will smell worse than the worst rotten corpse that is found on the dunya. This is how he will smell on the plane of resurrection. His intoxicant will be around his neck. His bottle of rum, you know, the dope that he took, the ganja or the weed, everyone will be able to see it. It will be hanging around his neck. The tool that he took his intoxicant with, his needle, his glass, whatever it may be, will be inside his hand. Rasulullah said, the area between his flesh and skin, it will be filled with snakes and scorpions, and they will keep on biting him on the plane of a resurrection. And remember, the day of judgment, it is 50,000 years long. They will keep on biting him on the plane of resurrection. On top of this, he will wear sandals made out of fire, as a result of which his head will begin to boil and bubble like boiling water in a kettle. This will be his condition. Rasulullah said, يخرج شارب الخمر يوم القيامة. He will come out of his grave مسودا وجهه. There will be no nur for him. There will be no light. There will be total darkness. His face will be absolutely black. مضلعا لسانه على صدره يسيل لعابه يقدره كل من رآه وعرفه أنه شارب الخمر. His tongue will be hanging to his chest. He will look like a dog. His saliva will be coming out everywhere. Everyone will dislike the way he looks, and everyone on the plane of resurrection will know this is the guy that used to take dope. This was the guy that was hooked on opium. This was the guy that used to take the cannabis. Every person, from the first person that Allah created to the last person, the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam will know. Ibrahim Khalilullah will know. Musa Kalimullah will know. Isa Ruhullah will know. Muhammad Habibullah will know that this guy used to take dope. His mother and father will know. You know, at this moment in time, he hides and takes it. On that day, he will not be able to hide. His mother and father will know. His brothers and sisters will know. All his relatives will know. all the ulama will know. My friends, every human being will know. There will be no place to hide. It will be humiliation like never before. It is the plane of resurrection. The good Muslims have now come to the fountain of Rasulullah, the very fountain regarding which Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Hawdi kama bayna Adan wa Amman, abradu min al-thalj wa ahla min al-asl wa atyab riha min al-misk, akwabuhu misla nujum as-sama, man shariba minhu sharbatan lam yadma ba'daha abada." The fountain of Rasulullah. I make dua to Allah that we all are allowed to come to the fountain of Rasulullah and we drink from the blessed hands of Rasulullah. This fountain, it is as big as from Aden, which is in Yemen, all the way to Amman, which is in Jordan. This is how big the fountain of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is. And the water of this fountain, can you imagine when the sun is above your head and people are drowning in sweat, how much in need you will be of water? And then cold water. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, the water of my fountain is colder than ice. It is more fragrant than musk. The cups of my fountain outnumber the stars in the sky. Whoever drinks once from the fountain of Rasulullah, lam yazma ba'daha abada, he will never be thirsty thereafter. The good believers will be on the plane of resurrection, drinking from the fountain of Rasulullah, from the blessed hands of Rasulullah. Rasulullah is filling up their cups and giving their water. Journey 5 will now seeing the believers on the plane of resurrection and how Allah is honoring them, how Allah is treating them. He will come to the fountain of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he will realize the one drug that he took in the dunya was so powerful that is purchased for him deprivation from drinking from the fountain of Rasulullah. Never mind drinking from the fountain of Rasulullah. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam won't even look at him. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam won't even look at him. ضربت الملائكة وجهه حوضه. Rasulullah on the contrary has said, when he comes to the fountain, the angels will beat him and they will turn him away. My friends, he is now crying like never before. He's screaming, he's yelling, he needs water, he desperately needs anything to quench his thirst. He can see the believers drinking. This is making it even more difficult for him. He's wearing sandals of fire, as a result of which his head is boiling like boiling water in a kettle. The sun is above his head. He's drowning in his own sweat. He cannot tolerate this and he's begging and he's crying and he's yelling and screaming on the plane of resurrection, give me something to drink, give me something to drink, give me something to drink. You know what, my young friends, Allah will not deprive him of a drink on that day. Allah will give him a drink. And you know where Allah will give him a drink? He will receive a drink next to Pul Sirat, the bridge regarding which the Quran says, وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا كَانَ عَلَى رَبِّكَ حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا. This bridge has been placed on top of Jahannam. Everyone will have to come on this bridge and they will have to cross this bridge. Below, Jahannam will be enraged like never before. The flames of hell will be leaping like never before. They will also be angry because the Lord of the Arsh and Kursi is angry like never before. Everyone will have to cross this bridge. والصراط ضحض مزلة عليها حسك كحسك القطار هافت عليها ملائكة ما هم كلاليب من نار. This bridge is thinner than hair. It is sharper than sword. It is greasy. It is slippery. There are angels on either side with the hooks of fire. Everyone will have to cross this bridge. The good believers will come and they will cross this bridge according to the good deeds that they perform in dunya. The more good deeds that you perform in the dunya, the quicker you will cross this bridge. Allahu Akbar. Some of the believers will come and they will cross the bridge faster than a flash of lightning. Some of the believers will come and they will cross the bridge like the passing of air. Some of the believers will come and they will cross the bridge like, you know, the way the fastest horse, how it gallops, and at that speed they will cross the bridge. Different people will cross the bridge at different speeds. My friends, he's there next to the bridge. He's been crying and begging Allah for a drink. This is where the Zabaniya angels, they will grab him and they will take him to Nahrul Khabal, the river of Khabal. And for every intoxicant he took in the dunya, for every spliff he took, for every sip he took, for every tablet he took, they will force him to drink from this river. The liquid or the water of this river is so lethal that if one drop was to be poured onto the heavens, that one drop would burn the entire heavens due to his heat, and he will have to drink. For every intoxicant he took in the dunya, the angels will force him to drink from this river. Tell me, my young friends, what do you think his outcome is going to be? If this one drop will burn the entire heavens, what do you think is going to do to poor Johnny Five's body? And he has to take this for every intoxicant he's taken. You know, it's not going to come to an end. Once he's done this, my friend, you know, get this out of your head, you know, this mercy and compassion. Kid, there is no mercy and compassion on the plane of resurrection. The mercy and compassion is here and now. Now is the time to turn to Allah and beg for mercy, not on the plane of resurrection. لو أن لنا كرة فنكون من المؤمنين. You know, you can't say on the plane of resurrection, oh Allah, I didn't know. Oh Allah, I beg you, forgive me. Send me back, give me another chance. Kid, it's too late. They will make him drink from this, and now they will grab him, take him to Pul Sirat. Now cross Johnny Five. What do you think his outcome's gonna be? What do you think his outcome is going to be? The guy is still out of it on the plane of resurrection. The angels are saying, cross the Pul Sirat. My friends, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. We're on the day of judgment. The day of judgment is only 50,000 years long. You know, after this is Jahannam. This is eternal. There is no end to that. He has to come and meet the Lord of the Arsh and Kursi, the Lord of the seven heavens and the earth. And he has to come and stand before Allah in such a condition. لَيْسَ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ اللَّهِ hijab. On that day, my friend, there will be no barrier. There will be no barrier between you and Allah. There will be no mutarjim. There will be no one that will translate for you. No, my young friend. There will be no wall, no barrier. You will come and you will stand in front of the greatest of all beings on a day when Allah will be angry like never before. Allah will never have been angry like this before this, and Allah will never be angry like this after this. You will come and you will stand before the Lord of the Arsh and Kursi, when even the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam, those free from sin, those that have never done any wrong, even they will be terrified from Allah, and they will be saying, Nafsi, Nafsi, Nafsi. Johnny Five will come and stand before the Lord of the Arsh and Kursi in the court of Allah. And when he comes to the court of Allah, my young friends, he will find there are thousands and thousands of people in the court of Allah waiting to bring a charge against him. These are the same people who he used to steal from to fulfill his habit. These are the same people, while he was out of it, he used to abuse. While he was out of it, he used to oppress. While he was out of it, he used to swear to these people. These people in their thousands are waiting in the court of Allah to bring a charge against him. The book of Allah, the Quran, will also be in the court of Allah, and the Quran will also bring a charge against him, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, any believer, any person who had even one verse of the Quran inside his heart, and which believer doesn't have a verse of the Quran? Every believer come knows the verses Qul Huwallahu Ahad or the verses of Surah Al-Fatiha. And then he took an intoxicant thereafter. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, every letter of that verse will bring a charge against him on the day of judgment. And anyone the Quran brings a charge against, he will perish, he will perish, he will perish. What do you think his outcome will be? He hasn't even answered the questions yet. He hasn't answered any question, and the questions will be there. An umrihi fima afna, wa an shababihi fima abla, wa an malihi min ayna iktasaba wa fima anfaqa, wa an ilmihi madha amila fi. An umrihi fima afna. J5, I gave you a life, 50 years of age, 60 years of age. You know, some of you even clocked a century and you were 100 plus. What did you do with that life? Did you fulfill your purpose in life? One shababi fi imla, I gave you youth so that you could, worship me even more. What did you do with your youth? Your wealth, where did you get it from? Where did you spend it? Your knowledge, what did you do with it? What will his answers be? My friends, never mind the day of judgment, I can tell you his outcome now. If the mercy of Allah is not with Johnny Five, and I repeat again, if the mercy of Allah is not with Johnny Five on that day, my young friends, then he will realize the biggest mistake of his life, that that £1, that $1, that one split that he took has purchased for him a ticket to hell. Oh, you fool. How foolish is this? $1 to hell. You know, the very Jannah which has 8 doors, Babu Rayyan, Babu Sadaqah. Those that used to fast regularly will come through Babu Rayyan. Those that used to give Sadaqah regularly will go through Babu Sadaqah. The Jannah which is bigger than the heavens and the earth put together, Johnny 5 will find that there's not even one little, square meter for him inside this paradise. Deprivation from entering paradise. You know what the angels will do? They will grab him. The guy like partying. So you know what they'll do? They'll do him a favor. Guys, this one's on the house. You have to pay for it. They'll take him straight to the pubs of hell. And they will make him drink and drink and drink and take as much as he wants. Round one, he will be forced to drink the blood and pus of the inhabitants of Jahannam. And if he makes it through this, round 2, the venom of snakes. And this venom will be so potent and so lethal that before he even drinks it, the flesh of his face will melt in the pot before he even touches it. And when he drinks it and he will be forced to drink, his skin and his body will begin to rot and smell. And it will smell so bad that this will annoy the inhabitants of Jahannam, and they will not be able to tolerate the smell coming from his body. Round 3, وَسُوقُوا مِنْ حَمِيمٍ فَقَطَّ أَمْعَاءَهُمْ. Allah will give him boiling water to drink. And when he's forced to drink this, everything within his body, it will destroy, it will break, it will take. My young friends, it doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to be like this. There's still time. Listen to the words of Rasulullah. Hiya akbarul kabair. It is the biggest sin that you can commit. O Musliman, ijtanibu ummul khaba'is. Stay away from the mother of all evils. Ijtanibul khamr. Stay away from these intoxicants. فَإِنَّهَا مِفْتَاحُ كُلِّ شَرٍ. It is the key to all evil. O Musliman, remember, لا يجتمع إيمان وإدمان الخمر في صدر رجل عبدا ليوشكن أحدهما يخرج صاحبه. Iman and intoxicants, they can't stay in the same heart. You've got to make a choice. Do you want Iman? Do you want intoxicants? Because if you take both, then what will happen? One will drive the other away. The intoxicants will drive your Iman away. Listen to the words of Allah. Rijsum min amri shaitan. It is a filthy thing. It is impure. It is evil. It is from the works of the devil. Fajtanibu. Stay miles and miles away. La'allakum tuflihun. This is the only way you will attain salvation. This is the only way you will attain Jannat of Allah and the elevate ranks of Allah. Do you realize that the shaitan wants to create hatred and enmity through these things? He wants to stop you from the dhikr of Allah, taking the name of Allah. He wants to stop you from prostration. Will you still not stop? Tubu ila Allahi tawbatan nasuha. My young friends, turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Turn to Allah while you still breathe. Turn to Allah with sincere repentance. Make firm intentions today. For those of you that are involved in this, for those of you that are not, thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this blessing that Allah has given you. And stay, with good people doing good things, and stay miles away. For those that are involved, turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in repentance. And beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you will never ever again in your life go anywhere near this thing. And you will leave it just like the companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam left this. In the days of the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala ajma'in, you will be aware, the consumption of wine was rife like never before. For some people, life was wine and wine was life. Day and night, they used to drink wine. They used to mention it in their poetry. But when the verses of the Quran were revealed, and intoxicants were made haram, and the caller of Rasulullah called out Ala innal khamra qad hurrimat. Ala innal khamra qad hurrimat. That from today, all intoxicants have been made haram. You know, at the time, some Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala majma'in, they were in their gathering. Some of them, they had bottles in front of them like this. Some of them, they had glasses in their hand. Some of them, they had glasses to their lips. But such was the love for the teachings of Allah and His Rasul. When they heard the caller of Rasulullah call out, Ala innal khamra qad hurrimat. My friends, those that had glasses in their hands, their glasses did not reach their mouth. Those that had glasses to their lips did not enter inside their bodies. They broke every glass and every bottle, so much so that on that day, streams of alcohol began to flow in the streets of Medina, and the words began to flow from their lips. Intahina, intahina. Oh Allah, enough is enough. We will leave these things and we will never turn to these things. Make a firm intention like this, like the Sahaba. If you make a firm intention like this, then I have no doubt in my mind, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will embrace you and He will forgive you and you will return. رَجَأَكَ يَوْمٍ وَلَدَتْكَ أُمُّكَ. You will return like the day your mother gave you birth, free and pure from sin. Why do people take this? No, our youngsters today take this because they've got problems. Some of them need the buzz. Some of them need that, good feeling. Some of them do it because of peer pressure. Some of them want that, inner satisfaction at all times, feeling good on a high. My friends, if you're looking for the inner satisfaction, if you're looking for this joy, and if you're looking for this peace, and you're looking for this contentment, then you're looking for it in the wrong place. How fool do you think that person or that individual is who's looking for onions in a doctor's surgery? You'd think this guy's totally out of it. Where's the doctor gonna have onions? He needs to go to a grocer's shop. We're looking for contentment and satisfaction in these things, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasn't placed the contentment and the inner satisfaction in anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made haram. The buzz that you should be looking for, every one of us. And this buzz, my friends, there's no charge. It doesn't cost a penny. With this, person has to steal to fulfill his desires. And for some even then he can't do. Some of them bichari go as far as selling their souls and selling their bodies, so just that they can earn a few pounds just to give them that little piece. This buzz that Allah talks about in the Quran, my friends, it costs nothing. And this buzz that Allah talks about, it doesn't last for a minute. It doesn't last for 2 minutes. You don't have to increase your dose just to get the buzz, or change the actual drug that you're taking. No. This buzz that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about in the Quran, my young friends, it doesn't last for 2 minutes. This buzz can last 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But okay, my friends, it can last an entire lifetime and beyond. No side effects whatsoever. No side effects whatsoever. At all times, you will feel this inner satisfaction inside your heart. And this buzz that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about, Allah bi dhikrillahi tatma'innal qulub. You will only find this not in dope. You will only find this in the remembrance of Allah. Only in the remembrance of Allah. Only in the teachings of Islam. Only in the teachings of the Quran. Only in the Sunnah of Rasulullah. My friends, do these hearts gain peace. The more you act upon the teachings, when I said, it doesn't just last for 2 minutes, it can go on forever and ever. This depends on the individual. The more you act upon the teachings of the Quran, the more you act upon the Sunnah of Rasulullah, the more you act upon the teachings of Islam, the more you make dhikr and remember Allah, my friends, the bigger and the greater the buzz. You don't have to believe what I've said. Just give it a try. Give it a try, my friends, you will realize the difference. You will realize the difference. But you know what? It's all about tawfiq, isn't it? How many times you must have heard something like this? It's all about tawfiq. I make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah give us all the understanding. And Allah gives us the tawfiq to act upon the teachings of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is the most important thing, my young friends. You've heard lectures before this, you've heard lectures today, you will hear lectures in the future. These lectures are meaningless if we do not bring about action in our lives. The most important thing is that we act upon what has been said. Not only for you, my young friends, but for myself also. On this note, I conclude. Allah give me the tawfiq to act upon what I've said. Allah give you the tawfiq. Wa akhiru dawana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.